Hi there and welcome to Apple World. NB, a young man may have one of the more great list of qualifications with regards to getting captured. His current legitimate circumstance includes various layers of charges across states and government wards, with the most recent key advancement being his consent to concede to a government weapons charge in Utah that as well as Young has been detained at home in Utah while anticipating preliminary. In Louisiana, in the wake of looking north of 60 crime counts connected with a large-scale remedy misrepresentation ring, in the event that anybody around him is blissful being his is undoubtedly going left. Gale advisor since he is by all accounts incapable of keeping himself out of legitimate difficulty. Kendall Geeden was brought into the world on October 20th, 1999 in Mallet Rouge, Louisiana. Jen broke his neck while wrestling as a little child, the injury requiring a head support until the spine was mended. The support left extremely durable scars on his temple that are a piece of his brand name look. Gene was raised primarily by his maternal grandma because of his dad being condemned to 55 years in jail. He exited 9th grade and told his mother he needed to zero in on his music profession and was before long captured for theft. Furthermore, he was shipped off a detainment place in Tallulah, Louisiana. There, he started composing lyrics for his presentation project after he was let out of the detainment place. Brilliant's grandma passed on from heart disappointment, and Geeden moved in with his companion and individual Twirly-Do Rouge rapper, NBA 33. The two then utilized demonstrations of culpability to start to pay for studio time. Brilliant initially started delivering music with an amplifier he purchased from Walmart. When he was 14 years of age, he delivered his first mixtape Life Before Notoriety. In 2015, Brilliant declared his introduction studio collection, Till the Very End Call Out to Me, in January 2018, not long after marking a joint endeavor manage Atlantic Records. It was here that his music vocation truly began to take off, and he began making hits that made it on the board, Top 100 and being highlighted on different diagrams. Also then in September of 2020, he delivered his freshest collection, Top the Collection, appeared at number 1 on the Bulletin 200 and turned into his third number 1 collection. In under 1 year in 2015, Little Fellow got his very first charge this experience. With the law was the after effect of him having committed a burglary at just 15 years old. While some rap craftsmen can obscure the lines among life and workmanship, with their supposed crime fans can define a straight boundary between. His first capture and first experience with rap while imprisoned in Tula, Louisiana on this charge. Little Fellow put pen to cushion and founded a rap vocation dependent on his disturbed life. These early insights would turn into the reason for what is presently his notable 2015 presentation mixtape, Life Be Distinction. Youthful Kid talked about the time during an interview with the Fader in humble terms, saying, "I have been rapping, yet I used to conceal it after the half-year time of change and self-disclosure. A lawbreaker court judge picked for NBA's discharge, permitting him to go on into youthful adulthood with his opportunity flawless, or if nothing else, that was the expectation since he had a difficult experience in front of him that would be full of issues with the law, ordinarily with wrongdoings, including more youthful individuals. There is an unmistakable heightening starting with one demonstration, then on to the next, however, not with this youthful rapper. And be a young man was captured at a show at which he was planned to perform on November 28, 2016. The capture in Austin, Texas, emerged over regulation implementation's conviction that young man stunningly discharged weapons into a group through drive-by only weeks earlier in Twirly-Do Rouge. The capture happened at an outstandingly sad time for Youthful Kid, who'd quite recently turned 17 and was consequently qualified to be attempted as a grown-up. Investigators had the option to paint a striking image of potential disciplines enough to beat young man's stubborn mentality, as he not just paid a post-conviction bail of $50,000 yet in addition acknowledged an arrangement to concede and followed officials in return for a less serious jail sentence. Having been accused of 2 counts of endeavored first-degree murder, Little Fellow got off with a take of just 9 months behind bars and 3 years of probation, a slap on the wrist contrasted with the limit of 40 years detainment he could have gotten under Texas state regulation. The investigator thinking isn't completely known at a public scale, so it is unsure assuming that the amount and be a Little Fellow made a difference. Examiners by giving data on 2 of the other claimed shoot tears in the drive-by. In spite of the historic progress of tracks like Distant NB, a Little Fellow was captured on a criminal warrant for having looked to dodge capture on charges of weapons ownership, grabbing and attack. The last 2 charges related to some degree to an occurrence kept in a lodging corridor, which portrays young man actually aiming his sweetheart Johnny Jackson, then hauling her into a lodging. NBA young man, as it were, stayed in prison for multi-month until he paid his $75,000 bond. He took to social media when the video was first distributed, saying the two were just playing, yet the public talk regarding the situation remains isolated after 2019. It really felt that NBA young man had really tried to understand and gotten himself back on the straight and thin, and that would seem to have been the situation until September of 2020, at the point when police did a stash beware of him, and he got busted. NBA captured at least 3 medication and firearm charges, supposedly including a awful offense of ownership of medications and ownership of a taken gun. His capture occurred close by 15 others after police answered a call with respect to people showing guns and recording a video. Rod Rouge police asserted the suspects captured were at absolutely no point ever broke in the Future Pack individuals and Base Kid Gorillas individuals too. At the scene, officials found various guns incorporating an AK-47 and expansion to hydrocodone pod advanced scales and Xanax. Moreover, the NBA young man alone was viewed as having ownership of $47,000 in real money at the hour of the capture. The little fellow's legal counselor was quick to take up a thorough safeguard of his client, expressing, "We actually have the second revision in the U.S. The quick detention of these people of color was unlawful in that it abused their protected freedoms." The ensuing look directed by policing was additionally unlawful. Even with the unlawful look-through that was led, no guns or then again controlled risky substances were found on Mr. Jean's individual, or in his prompt control. Mr. Jean is guiltless of the charges he was set up for the previous evening. What's more, he anticipates shielding himself as such in his most recent lawful difficulties. A Mallet Rouge judge requested an NBA young man into government authority Thursday after he was captured Tuesday in Utah, blamed for taking part in a huge scope remedy misrepresentation ring. The young man was currently out on bond as he confronted weapon charges in Rod Rouge. U.S. Area Court Judge Shelley D. encouraged that bond be repudiated. The young man has been on house capture in Utah. He was captured and set up for the money. Area prison on more than 60 lawful offense counts. Examiners except the diagram top rapper was engaged with a plan of falsely acquiring the doctor-prescribed drugs, promethazine and codeine, from a few drugstores in Utah. Somewhere around 2 others have been captured, and upwards of 8 others might have been associated with the coordinated activity. As per a Money Region Sheriff capture oath, the group supposedly called various drugstores, claiming to be genuine specialists in the region utilizing their authentic medication authorization organization, distinguishing proof numbers, and bringing in solutions. Some were filled, however others were hailed as fake. Authorities said this keeps on showing an example reliable. Lee, with an authoritative design, an examiner composed of specialists examined Gwendolyn Cox, who said she was a 75-year-old elderly person, reached Cache District Dispatch and requested to talk with an official specialist trust. This equivalent name was utilized to fill a portion of the deceitful solutions. During the discussion with Gwendolyn, it was very unmistakable that a phony voice was being utilized by the specialist. Gwendolyn seemed as if she was a lot more youthful male from the southern states. In the call, the individual utilized the word "a setup of ask." The composed, sworn statement doesn't say whether specialists trust this call was with Jean or not, yet in a later discussion with the agent, the rapper allegedly utilized the word. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.